Well, believe that I am live now. Good morning and welcome. I'm just checking out my room. I'm sitting at a different place. I'm sitting in my living room and I'm looking out my window and I thought I saw somebody coming up the driveway, but it was a bird. Uh, I've never done a live stream from the living room, but because of those birds in my dining room where my office is now, I decided to go ahead and remove myself for the stream. So that way, hopefully they don't interfere with things. But I also don't have my, I have my mouse. I do have my mouse. First of all, I want to thank some people for popping in. Kaylee, thank you so much for coming, sweetheart. I appreciate the feedback this weekend. And Catherine Cook. Oh, by the way, Kaylee is the first member in the house. Yes, I have a couple members now. So thank you, Kaylee. We have Catherine Cook in the house. Thank you, Catherine. I miss you guys. Dee Derringer. Wonderful to see you here today. And I do that all the time. I listen to people while I'm working on something. So it's just the way I have to do it much of the time. Let's see, who else? So we've got a few more people that jumped on me. I don't know what that is, Kaylee. A fire? Then we have James Cantonese. Thank you, James, for coming. I very much appreciate you being here. Naj, thank you for coming. Box Van D. Thank you, Box Van D. I appreciate you coming. And we also have we have the Modern King, which is my son, Brent. I love you. Thank you for coming. I'm getting down to someone that I'm really surprised to see, but happy. Well, I'm happy to see everybody. I'm very happy to see Linda Barker. And then we have OM Gosh. Now we get a chance to use this, something I worked on. Lily Lazaga, thank you. Thank you so much, Lily, for becoming, I think I did the wrong one. That's the wrong one. See, this is new, so be patient with me, please. And I believe this is the right one. Thank you, Lily Lazaga. And that is one of the things I worked on this weekend. I worked on some, I got a couple of things that are kind of fun. Most people have this stuff. I have not engaged in it because, frankly, I'm challenged in that manner. But I am so happy, Lily, you're here. And I know you're coming from somewhere in the Middle East. Let's see, Kaylee. I clicked your custom emojis that should have shown up as little pictures. It did not. I also did some emojis and I walked through and I did them exactly as they told me to do. So I'm not sure. I really am not sure. Yes, sweetie, long time no see. Thank you, Lily. I'm usually sleeping now when you're on. You're up late where you're at. Thank you for welcoming her, Brent. Yes, I'm sure. My channel is growing. Just in the last week, I think it's the last week, I think I've gained 22 members, which is a nice growth. Charv Heart, thank you for coming. And I'm learning to do some other things, some of these digital things. I don't know the proper word, but I've got some emojis now. Hello, V. Call me V. Thank you so much for coming. I appreciate it very much. And I'll show you. So let me see. I had some housekeeping things to take care of anyways while we're waiting for AJ to come in. I don't see him yet. If anyone sees AJ is road tripping, give me a heads up. I did send him a link. All right, so I'm gonna let me go over here. I got to switch back and forth for a momente, una momente, because all right. So, welcome everybody. Thank you for coming. I've got a little something something for the members who are just members who have become my new. Oh, there's AJ. I see you in the room. All right, AJ, I will pull you up in just a minute, hon. A couple of things I want to share. So this is something I did for the people who are now my channel members. Thank you. Thank you. If you've become a member, I appreciate it. And I did that for you guys. All right. So what else do I need to tell you all about? And then we'll get to AJ. Well, I'd like to get AJ on here and just get going. So if you will hang out till the end, I will talk about some of the things that are happening, because we do have some things happening. I've got interviews planned, scheduled, some things that I've been working on. It was a working weekend. And I want to say, if I'm not in your live streams, if I don't, right now I am, as things are kind of like spurting in a growth spurt, I'm really having to pay attention to my channel. I spend hours a day answering, whether it's an email or it's on a video. It's not uncommon for me to be sitting at my desk from about 8 o'clock in the morning to about 10. Then I generally watch Roy and Becky several days a week, actually, and then back to work. So it's really quite intense at times. And I know that I know people understand that, but I just need to say that because I really do. I sit there and I think, oh, this person is on, although I will run you in the background oftentimes. All right. So I think I'm up to oh, hello, Sue Kelly. Thank you for coming. Thank you. And if you would share, if you don't mind sharing this stream out on your social media or on your community tab, I would very much appreciate it. We'll get some new people in here. Van Vita Travels, welcome to you. And I know you understand, Dee. I'm really pushing. I made the decision to really do the channel correctly, as from what I watched other people. I've modeled, try to model things after you. People are successful. You, Blue Wave Odyssey, Van Vita Travels. Y'all got some fun stuff going on in your streams, and I wanted to bring some life to it. Well, thank you. Super sticker. Thank you so much. And I am going to play a little something for you. Thank you for that. I'm changing the music. You don't even have to tell me. The music sucks. But thank you so much, Paula. All right. So we have got AJ is road tripping in the basement. Where'd he go? I need him back here. All right, there we go. And we're going to have some fun with AJ. I'm going to drop a link, AJ. Going to invite you up, and this is for AJ, please. And he's going to talk to us and tell us about his life as a nomad. And then all you have to do is click on it. So I'm going to grab a little sip of coffee while I'm waiting. How's everybody doing today? Oh, Richard is on here. He's out working in the RV, by the way, guys. We're, trying to get some of the basic things done we want and need to get done. And one of them was the floor, and he is still working on getting all the carpet up. He tried to convince me not to pull up the carpet in the bathroom. It's going. Either him or me is pulling it up. So I just couldn't. I just said, no, we're not keeping the carpet in the bathroom. And glad that you're doing well, everybody. All right. I do see AJ. Just give me a thumbs up if you're ready, AJ. Okay, dear. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you fine.
Oh, good. I can hear you fine too. So first of all, thank you for coming on here. You've got you have really cute stuff coming up. I really like your channel, and you have such a sweet personality, and you are really into this lifestyle. And I just wanted to talk with you. You're a little bit more. You're in a box van, correct?
Yes.
Yes. And I'm in an RV. And we've got a box van in here, Box Van D. If you don't know who she is, that's a channel to absolutely check out. In the meantime, why don't you tell us where you come from? What made you decide to do this? What kind of piqued your interest in van life?
Well, first, I'd like to say thank you, Lucrezia, for inviting me to come to this interview. It's pretty neat. You know, I think it was a culmination of a lot of things that just kind of brought me to this. I'd actually been thinking about it for quite a while. And by quite a while, for me, it's a couple years. Mm-hmm. And thank goodness a few circumstances happened to where it became possible. I've been the majority, and by the majority, I mean like roughly 90% of my adult life has been military. And so I think that, like a lot of my, comrades in arms, we are used to picking up and moving around and that sort of thing. Right. And I love to travel. I've loved to travel since I was a kid. And this just makes sense for me.
So when you were a kid, did you camp, or what did you do as a kid? How did you kind of learn about that?
There was a whole lot of static there. How's it on my end? Is it good?
I hear something, but I don't know what that static would be. There's just nothing here.
It'll go away. So when I was a kid, I did a lot of camping. I'm originally from Washington State, and so I did a lot of travel up into Columbia. And of course, adjacent states like Oregon and Idaho. And just being outside and being in nature and camping and seeing different things, like it blew me away as a child in Canada. Mm-hmm. Not just the money. When I would buy something at Safeway, for instance, and they gave me more money back than I gave them. I just thought that was the neatest thing as a kid. Of course, I didn't know about the exchange rates. And then I had an early interest in languages. So it just, again, so many different things got me involved in traveling. And of course, it should probably be no surprise to anybody listening that, traveling by a vehicle, one that you can live in and cook in and that sort of thing isn't a terrible thing. I got a visitor. Oh, there you go. It's a nice sunny day here in Western Michigan, which is where I'm at now. And so it's caused me to have my windows cracked, and the wasps want to come in and join the group.
Yeah.
So
you're in Michigan now.
But yeah, so I went searching for a vehicle. I had an idea of what I wanted, and I wound up with what I have for a couple reasons. One, it has the dimensions that I was looking for, and two, it was affordable. I didn't want to go buy a vehicle and have to make payments on it, so I was able to go and get this vehicle at what I was looking for in a van, car, whatever, that I could just buy outright and focus the rest of my money on the build.
Sure. So if you could suggest, are you wearing a mic on your shirt?
Oh, this is, I got the shirt when I was doing some work with our Danish counterparts in Denmark, and it means summer run.
Oh, okay. Well, no, we were thinking, Kaylee thought maybe your mic was rubbing against your shirt or something. How about, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop you down and then bring you back up, and we'll see if that clears it up. Okay, we'll just drop down because you're yeah, we want to hear what you have to say. Remove from screen. All right. I'm just trying this. I don't know if it's going to help, and I really want us to hear him. It is still there, and I believe it's coming from your end because when I'm by myself, we don't hear that. I'm so sorry. We'll just have to try, and it's really not. It is a. It's just. So sometimes that happens. Now it's stopped. Oh, there it goes a little bit again. Uh-oh, we lost him. Well, we'll see if coming back up, I don't know if I need to drop it again, but I will drop a link again. I don't think I need to. Thank you, Traveling. We have, thank you, Traveling Dingbats. I appreciate you joining the family. In the meantime, I worked on some emojis, but they're not working. I don't know. I did exactly what it said to do. And I've seen a couple people try to post one and it's just not working. He is needing to reconnect his mic. So AJ, if you could hear that, and Vanvita does a ton of interviews. She may have on to something. Need to reconnect your mic. So let's see who else is in here. We have Forever Best Friend has come in. Let's see. All right, there's AJ again. All right, let's give it another try.
All right.
Darn, it's there. Is it a separate mic from your phone?
Yeah, no, I don't have a mic on at all. It's just
that's really weird. All right, well, we're unless anybody else has any ideas, we're just going to push through this because really, it's I want you to be able to tell your story, AJ. So, are you in full time?
So, not yet. I am in the midst of full time. I've just put in my request for retirement from the military, and that takes a little bit of time to get knocked out. And then once that's done, or at least once I'm at the point in the process where I don't have to, show up for work, then I can go full time. And I just plan to go. I don't have any real direction. I'm going to go that way, I think, or maybe that way.
See, that's the nice thing.
How's the sound now?
You can just you can go whatever way you decide to go. So you are going to live in it full time eventually. And how much of the build have you got completed?
So far, my bed, which I laugh at because I made this frame. I made it based on how tall it is in here, how tall I am, and what I wanted to do. So obviously, I sleep in the bed. That makes sense. But I also want to be able to sit up so that occasionally I can read in bed. And I can do those things. But when I measured it, I did not take into account the thickness of my mattress.
Oh.
So, yeah, it's an Olympic event to get in my bed. And I'm only 5'9". I'm not overly tall. So I use my little camp chair. See that? Hop up in there, and I generally stretch out first. So I don't pull my hammy getting in. This is where my kitchen is going to be. And before the interview today, I got a phone call from the sawmill, which is creating a live edge countertop for me, which sounds expensive, but it's not, because I'm utilizing an Amish. It's good for me.
Uh-huh.
Uh-oh, am I muted?
Nope, I'm
Still
trying
not-
to,
Still not.
I am trying to increase the volume on your microphone. People are having a hard time hearing you, so we're just trying to increase that volume.
Crazy. That's not the problem. Huh.
So when I click on the mic, it goes to mute or unmute. I'm looking for a way to,
Well, how about if I put earbuds in? Maybe that'll help. Hold on.
maybe that will help.
Maybe. Maybe. Hold on.
I think he's frozen. So sorry that this is a struggle today, guys, and mostly for AJ, because I really wanted this to go smoothly for him. Amish lumber. Frozen. All right, so okay, you're good now. You were frozen there for a couple minutes.
Okay, how's the audio?
The audio is better. All
Good.
right.
There's a delay.
There's a little delay, yeah. So Kaylee wanted to know about Amish lumber.
So I live in West Michigan, and it's kind of central of the state. And really the only thing about Amish lumber that I can say that is different versus what you would buy at your regular box store is that generally it is not seasoned. It was cut a few days ago, and so my 2x4s are cut to the typical specs that you would find anywhere else, but they are very sharp cut. So here is an example, maybe. All right. Here is an example of what I got from the Amish. And you can see it's still very rough here, you know? So I just cut what I wanted for my frame, and then I have an orbital sander and I just sanded it down. You know, it's smooth enough to where I'll still get splinters if I touch it. So yeah.
Well, how'd you decide on which kind of travel vehicle you wanted? Between, there's different kind of vans, the box van, step van, RVs of all kinds. What made you decide on a box van?
So I wanted a vehicle that I could stand up in. That's very important to me. I had a back injury a few years ago, and I can bend over all day, but then at night my body doesn't like it. And I wanted enough room to, to kind of have a life in here. I do watch a lot of van life channels, and one of the things I will continue to do in van life is stay active. So I want a place to put my bike. I want a place to put fishing gear and eventually like snowboarding gear, things like that. I want a place to cook food that's stationary. And over here, where my door is, I'm going to build a bathroom where you can take a shower and do your business. So the vehicle had to have enough space for all of that, plus additional room for activities.
You know, the idea that, or, you know, planning the things that you like to do. So what I was told and what I've listened to for a long time is that, you know, if there's something that you really like to do, make sure that you can do that when you're out on the road, because there's going to be lots of time when you're doing nothing. And it is a little, I found it, okay, I have an RV. It's a 25-foot Class C RV. And I found it very confining. I live in a 3-bedroom house with a living room, 2 bathrooms, and a family room, and then a big giant backyard. And so it was a culture shock, really. It was a culture shock to be in that confined small area. And it actually, physically for me, it caused one of my medical problems to flare up. And because of all the sitting, I happened to have went to quartzite, which is rocks, you know, and so it wasn't good for me for my particular issue. But the idea you're taking the fishing pole, taking things you like to do, that's important.
Yeah, it is. And I think that, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. I talked enough.
I think it's important that we stay active no matter what our limitations. You know, I cannot do, well, let me put it like this. I don't do as well the things that I used to do 20 years ago.
Right.
You know, I'm 48. I don't really know what that means for me, because I don't hang around a lot of 48-year-olds, or anybody else for that matter. But I know that the things I used to do 20 years ago were a lot easier for me to do than they are now. My mentality hasn't quite caught up to what I think my body thinks it's supposed to be doing at this age, which is, I don't know, bingo or something. But no matter what I can do, you know, easily or, you know, with a bit of difficulty, I'm going to do something. And if I take a little bit of time to get there, that's okay. So yeah, this park that we're in right now, I decided to come to this park because it's generally pretty quiet here. There's, you know, it's an older neighborhood. This is a park that I sometimes run at because it's close to where I work. And there's a couple of different pathways that I can run for different distances. And some days I only choose to run the 2.5 miles because I don't feel like running further. Other days I feel like I need to get out there and run that 4 miles. But I know that regardless of the amount of miles that I'm running it slower now than I would have years ago. The point, it doesn't really matter. I'm out there doing something. And that's the point.
Right. And, you know, one of the pieces of my channel, or my husband and I'm the person who's always in the screen. He likes to do the background stuff. So when I say me, I'm really talking about both of us. But it is that idea that what I used to be when I was in my teens and in my early 20s doesn't exist anymore. Physically, I was an athlete. I was a star athlete, and I am no longer. I had some injuries that were never resolved, and it led to other things, you know, that were not good for my body. And so I now have to deal with that. But I was just speaking to one of my oldest friends. I've known him since I was 11 years old, and we were talking, and he doesn't agree with people really talking about their personal stuff like injuries, illnesses, whatnot. And it's mostly because it's sad to hear. I'm trying to use my channel as a means for people to know that someone with limitations can absolutely still go live a life, be happy, do some fun things within those limitations. There's another channel. She does the same things. Hers is very centered on disability. So, you know, it's good. You look like a really young guy. When you said you were in the military are you like 20, 25 years?
23.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, to me, you don't look like you're in your 40s. So, but that doesn't matter.
You want to know what the secret is?
What's that?
I'll tell you the secret. The secret is not to smile.
Really?
Can you see the wrinkles in my face? See, I'm not smiling. You see the wrinkles? But the minute I crack that smile, then I look 75.
Box Van D is wondering what size the box is.
So the box itself is 14 foot.
Okay. I don't
Of
remember.
course, yeah, the box itself. So it's 14, I'm sorry, 14
Oh,
foot long by 9.5 feet wide.
okay. Well, that seems like a nice area for one person.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, and probably too much. But again, there's certain things I just didn't want to compromise on. You know, I wanted a bathroom. You know, I'm not gonna have a sink in the bathroom. The sink's gonna be right here behind me next to the stove, which thank goodness came in the mail the other day. You know, I wanted a bed that, you know, provided storage underneath. The fact that it's a queen size bed has to do with two things. Number one, that's what size my mattress is.
Yeah.
It didn't make any sense for me to go out and get another one. And two, I'm doing this by myself, and I have a terrible imagination when it comes to making sense of things being built. And I wanted to sleep widthwise versus lengthwise. It makes kind of sense for me to change this up and make a lengthwise twin size bed, but I can't get it in my head 100%. You know, I can't like visualize it enough to make it happen. So maybe in the future when I'm all, you know, baller status, then yeah, we'll have somebody do all the thinking for me, and I'll just make it work with a better mattress.
A queen size mattress. We had to settle for twins. We looked all over Oregon. We're in Oregon, right, in Eugene, and we looked all over the state of Oregon, north, south, east, and west, and we found the best one we could in the price range we had to work with. And it's actually better than decent RV. It's a good RV, but it's twins. And I found having a partner, we have a big giant armoire between us. I don't care for that. So we got to alter that in some way because I like being able to see him at night, you know? So yeah, you just have to do what we have to do with the things we have. So Box Van D hers is a 6.5 by 10.
Okay.
Her box. So that's a little smaller. Richard, let's see. Oh, just saying hi to everyone. And Dee's recommending you put it on. This is how you know, because I put my glasses on.
Put it on what?
Put it on paper. You know, she has built out her own box van. She's she's an excellent resource. If you haven't checked out her channel before, check out hers. She's done her own build for the most part, except for a few things. But she built cabinets and shelves and her bed and everything. So she is a wonderful resource for someone building a box van. So when you think about, I've got a family. Do you have a family that has an opinion about what you're doing?
So I do have children. They're older, and they're, you know, also living their lives. My son, I have one son and two daughters. He thinks it's pretty cool. And then, you know, he's also a teenager, so that's all I'm getting, and that, you know, is good enough. I've got siblings that are, you know, and I think both sides of the spectrum, you know, in terms of, wow, that's really cool, and why are you doing that? My grandmother thinks it's pretty neat. So my grandmother was a big part of my life. I think, like a lot of folks that have nice grandmothers. And when I was a kid, I learned how to tie my shoes in her motorhome. That's one of like my earliest memories. And you know, she had a couple of motorhomes as I was growing up, and one day she gave me a ride to school. It was like the first day of my sophomore year in high school, and she gave me a ride to school in the motorhome. So I popped out of the motorhome, no big deal. My first day of my first period class, which happened to be German class, Mr. Willincott said, "Yeah, you're the only person I've ever known that's ever come to school in the motorhome." And of course, the classroom's laughing. I didn't get it. Like, I don't know what was so funny about that, but I think I've just kind of always been around some form of travel. It's weird that I think about it. I think we got off topic.
No, that's all right. Well, one of the things we like to do is to help people. I like to get to know someone, and the idea that you have this connection of learning to tie your shoes in your grandma's RV,
Yeah.
that's actually pretty cool to me.
Now I
And
remember what we were talking about. Yeah, so my grandmother, I said that to say that she's been thinking about getting back into the whole, RV thing, but she was never a full timer. She just had an RV, like a lot of people that I know have RVs. It's time to take a trip, get in the RV, we're going. But I think that she would like to do it a little bit more frequent than not. So, and she wants a travel companion. That would be kind of neat if we caravanned together. But then eventually I would have to break loose and go have fun and do the type of things that maybe grandma frowns on.
Yeah.
If you're watching, Grant, I'm sorry, but yes, I still drink beer. That's good.
Well, you got to live the way you want to live, and that's one of the things about being in an RV that is so cool, is that people can do, for the most part, what they want to do. I mean, there's nothing limiting us except whatever that limit is for us. I see Kaylee has a good idea. This was recommended to me too. I always wanted to be in it. By the way, I wanted us to be in like one of the big, like a high top van. But the fact of the matter is, I have a mobility disability, and me for climbing is not going to happen. And so we needed something that we could either get in on both sides of the bed, or in this case, we have entry point for each one of us. But it is learning, what do you really like, and how do you like to live, and your grandma. I mean, to me, that's like one of the most coolest things, the idea that you would, and that you really, you wouldn't mind caravanning with her for a while. It says, to me, it says a lot about
she's good people, and well, I think it says a lot about hers. I am okay being alone, but I have family members that I absolutely have zero to do with, and just the same as there are people that used to be a part of my life that are no longer. So I think that it says a lot about the person that my grandmother is, because she, is a kind person, and I believe worthy of the love and respect that she gets from us. So
cool.
Gosh,
cool.
I don't know if that sounded right, but that's what it sounded like.
Well, it sounded
just real quick, another thing about the van. One of the other things I wanted was a diesel engine. So I've got a Ford 7.3 liter Power Stroke diesel, which anybody listening that's into that sort of thing probably knows is a really good engine. So, and had about 3.5 million miles on it, but not really close to. I can't remember what I got it at. I'll have to look at the paperwork, but it was just under 300,000 when I got it. I haven't quite cracked 300,000 yet, but I'm nearly there. Yeah. So
even I know about this.
And my sister's telling me to let you ask some questions.
Oh no! I mean, I love listening to you, so it's good. That's a good thing. We were looking at this, I started watching. I watched some videos with Bob Wells, and he was talking about engines. So I took notes. I remember, take notes on things that you don't know about. For myself, I have to. I have a 59-year-old memory. And so I need some notes to go back to. And I knew when you said that is a good engine. But we did not get a diesel for other reasons. So let's see if there's some questions here also. Just a lot of respect for you for the, I'm sure your grandma's a great lady. It sounds like she probably, like she is. So, but still, there's people who won't even go with their parents. I know people like that, and so it's cool, to see that you and your grandma may end up caravanning together.
Yeah, And they're called my kids. That's all. It's not cool.
Yeah. Well, my son, when we told him, our son is 31, and when we told him we were going to do this, he goes, "You want to be homeless? Why would you want to be homeless, Mom?" You know, I see
It's
people.
all jokes aside, there's a chronic problem in our country with homelessness. And I'm not trying to get on a PSA here.
Sure.
It's just that I think that a lot of people who have that mentality or that perception of, van lifers and vehicle dwellers in general, right?
Yeah.
Don't quite understand that there are some homeless people out there that don't even have a cardboard box to live in.
Yep.
That's how terrible it is. And that's unfortunate. And, the people that are in a vehicle, whether they're there on, their own free will or they're forced in that situation, are the lucky ones. Everybody's at their, it's not homeless, it's houseless. Yeah, okay,
Right.
Roger, but I'm choosing this.
Yes.
There's a fair amount of people out there who absolutely have zero choice but to do what they can with what they have.
Yep.
And then there are people who are a lot worse.
Yes.
So, I I don't really have a crusade. My purpose in this life isn't just to cruise around in a cool van and, hang out on the beach all day. It's also to go and talk about the places that I'm at and the food that I'm eating and, obscure restaurants and stuff like that. But occasionally, I'd like to run into somebody and hear their story, why they ended up in the situation that they're in, regardless of the situation.
Well, Box Van D is one of the people that I watched from the beginning of this our own journey, and she went from a car, not to tell her story because she has plenty of it on her channel, but just I'm going to use you because you're such a great example. She went from a car to escape some stuff and has worked her way into the van, the box van. And there's lots of people who do it different ways. There's several women, generally it's women that I follow that are in cars or in minivans. One lady has it just great inside. And people do it all, and there are people who choose it that way. So it doesn't matter as long as it's comfortable for them. And, I'm amazed at what people are able to do with such a small space. You talked about putting in a bathroom. So it sounds to me like, are you going to use a porta potty? Because we always talk about that stuff too. Do you want to have go ahead.
Yeah, the plan is to build a rectangular box that will hold a 5-gallon pail, the luggable loo.
Yep.
And then also have a space for sawdust. One of the great things about where I live is the amount of knowledge that you can gain from people who live closer to nature and the Amish, for instance. So I learned that you can do your business in a receptacle and then put some sawdust in, and that helps to absorb it, and it kills the smell. And I don't know if it's instantly, but there certainly isn't any smell. And so it wasn't enough for me to just take somebody's word for it. I tried it myself. Once upon a time, I used to be a part of a partnership out here, and we had a patch of land and we built an outhouse. And inside that outhouse, we had a box with a toilet seat screwed to it, and we had a nice deep hole dug. And next to that was a foot locker full of sawdust that we got for free from the Amish on the road, and a whole bunch of toilet paper. Yeah. The Amish are keen to give you sawdust and the bark. I'm sure there's a word for when they shave the bark off. They're keen to give that to you because, with the exception of using it themselves, it's it's useless.
Right.
And so, yeah, we put a little sign in there, put 1 scoop for number 1 and 2 scoops for 2. And after having a bit of a celebration out there with close to 60 people,
Wow.
went in there and, of course, people didn't pick up the toilet paper cores, but there was no smell. And all of the toilet paper, I used to remember the amount of rolls we had in there. All of it was used.
Wow.
So testament to, utilizing things like sawdust.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And obviously I'm not going to be traveling in places where there just happens to be a sawmill. But you can also get the, cedar chips from Petco or, the Walmart or wherever you find, bidding for printers.
Right. Right. Kaylee's wanting to know where you plan to travel. Do you have like some things, do you have a bucket list? Or is it just all kind of free flowing?
So, it's a combination of both. There are some places that are very typical that I'd like to see. So I've only ever seen the Grand Canyon from the air. And if you haven't, it is worth taking a trip to Arizona on a clear day, obviously. But I'd love to just stay in there and just take that all in. Of course, I've got family in Georgia. In fact, my little sister Leigh, hi Leigh, I know you're watching. And I've got a good friend down in Florida. Hi Rochelle. Good friends over in California. I've got family still in Washington State. Just talked to my buddy who's back in Hawaii, and he's planning to move to California here soon. So of course, all of that is happening. I will go and make time to go see my friends and family that I'm close to and that are important to me. But apart from that, I want to just drive somewhere like Highway 2, for instance. If those of you watching don't know where Highway 2 is, it's the northernmost highway. I think that's coast to coast. And then just pop into some outcrop somewhere and be there. Or throw my fishing rod into, not a rod, but my fishing line into the Gulf of Mexico.
Oh, yeah.
See if the Salt Lake can really hold me up without any effort. Things like that.
Right, right.
And then hopefully the borders will open up so I can get into Canada.
I know Canada's got some beautiful, it's just a beautiful country as well. Those of us who have lived in the Pacific Northwest know, we are blessed up here with the beautiful greenery and all of we've got every kind of tree almost you can imagine. As coming from Washington State, you must know about. But Box Van Dees has come to Arizona, and I went to Arizona. And I actually fell in love with the desert, and I'm very much an ocean girl. But if I agree. I didn't get to we were in Arizona and I didn't get to go to the Grand Canyon. I couldn't believe it. I was watching somebody's not live, but their video today about the Grand Canyon. And I was thinking, I can't believe I did not get there.
I've done some training and I've done some training in Arizona. I absolutely love it there. And so I was born in Moses Lake. For anybody watching, that's Eastern Washington. That's high desert. I'm going to have to ship this because, I'm not allergic or afraid of wasps and bees. I just don't want to have to take one off the planet because they tried to get me.
Yeah.
But I love the desert. I really do. And by the desert, I mean, the high arid climate desert, not Kuwait.
Yeah.
So, there's nothing wrong with Kuwait, but to be fair to Kuwait, when I was there, I wasn't near anything except for what the U.S. put there and sand.
Yeah.
And if you've never been to a desert and you've seen it on TV and you have it in your mind that it is nothing but an ocean of sand, that's where I was, right there. No bushes, no buildings, just hot. So neat to see on pictures, but not to experience firsthand.
Yeah, real hot, by the way, I assume. Over 100.
The highest temperature I recall when I was overseas there was 132.
What did you say? 132?
Yes, 32. Yes.
Oh, Lord God Almighty!
Yeah.
I would have died.
And so I'd stepped. Yeah, well, I stepped out long enough to see that, and then I went back in to the air-conditioned space.
Well, first of all, I need to thank you for your service. Kaylee has already thanked you, and somebody else may as well. But seriously, thank you for being one of those people willing to go be someplace that we needed you to be for whatever reasons, wherever that was.
Sure. Arizona, for instance.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
Let's see. Sid Kelly says, and the petrified forest and meteor crater is also awesome. And Arizona, go play with the bears. Arizona, oh, that's interesting. Never heard of that.
That's funny.
Grand Canyon's awesome. Yep, I was, it's going to happen this next season. Ontario. And we've got, I'm in Utah, girl, and we are desert, and I love it here. I saw some Utah today. It was beautiful. So what in your van, we know you got a bed in there, and you're going to put a little bathroom and did I hear you say oven?
Yes. So I bought a 2-burner cooktop, gas cooktop. And it's here. And again, before we got on this, I got the phone call from the folks at the sawmill there to let me know that my countertop is in. So I will pick that up probably tomorrow because it closes at 4:30, and I'm roughly an hour south of them.
Okay.
So yeah, and I'll put that together. But I've been mostly using Amish wood because it's inexpensive, and to be so you can understand. So like I bought 2x4 by 10s, so 10 feet long 2x4s.
Right.
And they were $3.25 a piece.
Wow.
And compared to what I found at Lowe's here for the same dimensions, the cheapest one I found was $9.99.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've been getting pallets mostly for free, but there's a place that's up the road from where I live that charges $2, and I just break them down with my Sawzall. And so my kitchen counter here is all pallets. I don't know if that's too dark. Hopefully it's not.
No, it's very light.
But yeah, that's all pallet wood.
Oh, cool.
I'm going to cover the walls. I put these pallets here. I'm not sure if I'm pointing. Those pieces there just to kind of look at it. I don't like it there. I pulled a window from a fifth wheel at a wrecking yard, and I'm going to put the window above my stove and sink. And then the walls are going to be pallet boards, and underneath my bed, which you may or may not be able to see, is a bunch of pallet wood that I've already cut up.
People there's pallet furniture of all sorts. I look, just browsing on Marketplace. I can't believe what people are able to make with pallet. It's just anything a person wants can be found in pallet wood.
Yeah, and I'm winging it, so.
Let's see. Yes, ridiculous. Oh, big box stores are getting for lumber now. They say 30K increase in home built. Oh gosh, yeah, I can imagine. No, thank you. I was so upcycling pallets. Kaylee said upcycling pallets, and once again, she wanted me to remind you about the mock-up. If you can get cardboard and do a mock-up of the area, and that way you can change it in and out without really having to do a whole lot of investment in buying more wood or something. Let's see. That's what anybody else has got any questions here. Dee had to go, but I understand for sure, for certain. Nice job on your kitchen build from Call Me V.
Thanks, V.
Yes, ridiculous what big box stores are. Yeah. Yep. All right. So how long do you think you'll be in your van full time? Everything done, just ready to start driving around and seeing the country.
Well, so I'm going to build as I go. I before I
Okay.
actually bought this vehicle, I got wrapped up in they thought that I needed to make sure that I had enough money to purchase a vehicle, have a professional build, all the power, all that stuff that's typical in this life. And then I was watching Brome's channel like a lot of us do. And, he says it so often that one would think that you would have got the point by the second or third time you heard it. But it took me a few times to hear him say, live in it with what you got and then build it as you go, and that's so I'm sort of forced to sleep in my bed because my apartment that I live in is an upstairs apartment. My mattress is incredibly heavy. I managed to get it down, well, with problems, but there was no way I was going to quit. And it's up there. In fact, it actually took me as long to get it through the door and up on that bed frame as it did for me to get it out of my place. But getting it back up there, no ma'am. It is staying right there, and that's where I sleep. But it's good because then on the nights when I don't sleep so well, I can lay and I think about the layout. I've already changed my dining area in my mind. I've changed it a couple of times. I've changed where the bathroom is going to go, how I'm going to build my, clothes storage and that sort of thing. So being in here, sleeping in here, or, lying awake in here, as it were, I'm able to get a better idea of how I want this laid out. The cardboard mock-up is a great idea. Thank you for that. I have sketched it out more times than I think I have paper anymore in that particular notebook. I tell people this all the time, and I think I have mentioned it in a video, that the cool thing about doing this is, by myself, is that I get to make all the decisions. Like I wouldn't call myself a control freak, but this is my van. I'm in control of what goes in and what comes out of this thing. The problem with doing it by myself is that I have to make all the decisions. There's no insight. But coming to a place like this and getting ideas like the mock-up and that, yeah, great idea. I've got some buddies that are mechanically inclined that are willing to help out, and that's great. So cool. I'm not alone. I'm just the only one cutting the wood.
Yeah, I know that. I understand that kind of alone. Are you going to have a refrigerator or cooler, or what are you going to do about that, about your food for any kind of things that need to be cold?
So I bought a Igloo. It's like the knockoff Yeti. No disrespect to Igloo, but I didn't pay $7,000 for it either, so that's good.
Yes.
But I do plan to have a refrigerator freezer combo in here. The top loading. And I've got a couple of ideas of what I want, but before I buy that, I want to have this cabinet built first, so then I can figure out the size that I'm going to be working with.
Sure.
Yeah.
There's things that just make sense, and like doing it the way you're doing it makes sense. Since you have the time and you have the flexibility to just kind of work with it as you go, that to me makes sense. Instead of just, I've never done anything. I do things bass-ackwards, as my mother used to say. You're going at it straightforward in a much more clear way. And let's see, if there was something else I was thinking I wanted to ask. Darn. Well, you've got invitations to Canada, Arizona. And so, I would go ahead.
Oh no, I said nice. Sorry.
Oh, cool.
You're good.
All right. And there's, the community of RVers, van life people, even I've got people who are not in this lifestyle at all, but I'm still a whole person. So my channel is made up of a big family. A couple questions about your channel. Do you plan on building your channel to monetization, or are you just having fun with it? And what you doing? What do you think your channel's going? What's the idea or thought on that?
Well, ideally it would be nice to get paid for it, but honestly, the channel itself is more about me getting out of my bubble, out of my comfort zone. I pride myself on being a very private person. My close family and close friends know details of my life. I think as most of us are like that.
Sure.
I don't have social media, so I don't have a Facebook page or Instagram or any of that sort of thing. And so, part of this whole life isn't just about the travel and stuff. It's also about getting out there and putting myself out there to have these experiences and not be so cooped up. I've had a wanderlust my whole life, and then I sort of either repressed it or lost it or forgot about it at a certain period of time when I thought that I needed to put roots down to be happy.
Oh, yeah.
And so right now, to answer your question, the YouTube channel is going to be expanded because I want to show people what I'm doing, and I've got a fair amount of family and friends that want to see that. But it's for fun, and the more I'm learning about editing, and I have these goofy ideas. I've included some family members in my channel with the whole AJ is tripping thing. And not to guilt my little sister Lay, who's watching this, into anything, but I'm just saying I'm waiting. You keep saying that you're going to send me a clip, but I don't.
That's cute.
On blast. Yeah.
So is there anything that you can think of that you'd like to share, either about your van, your plans, questions you might have?
That's one thing, but I agree that we've got a great community. The whole nomadic lifestyle thing is wonderful. Real quick, once upon a time I had a tin top Volkswagen van again. And I absolutely loved. Wait a second, you're having trouble connecting.
Yeah, it's been cut out a bit the last couple minutes.
I don't know if you can hear me or see me, but I don't see you.
Oh, I see you and I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I hear you, but it's all pixelated.
And I can see your face, but your face is froze. You're welcome to drop down and come back. I see you now. Can you see me?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, go ahead.
Okay. So I used to have this Volkswagen van again, and we used to camp in it a lot, and that was fun. I went to this event called Buses by the Beach a few times out here in West Michigan, and it was to raise money for the Phoenix Burn Society. And I was just amazed at the amount of camaraderie and love and just sort of kinship that was involved in that group of people. Now, it wasn't just Volkswagen vans, but that was the majority of what was there. The whole van life, RV life, mobile, nomad, whatever label it wants to be, you can just see it in how people are treating each other. And I think it's great. And I'll give you an example of it that is tangible for you. I don't check my email is not on push notifications. I actually was getting on my personal email to look for something that I had sent from my work email to myself. And your name, of course, sticks out. The only other time I've ever known Lucrezia was in Europe. And so I was like, wait a second, what? And then I looked at the burning up the road. It's like, oh, wow. And so I read the email. I didn't think anybody actually read the description of my videos, which is where my email is found.
Uh-huh.
But I was shocked. And to me, just the fact that you reached out to some lowly YouTuber, comments of a YouTuber, just some random dude on YouTube was telling. It made me feel good and accepted in this life. Yeah.
Well,
So.
that is exactly how it felt for me. And so when I was asked to come and talk to somebody about our channel and our RV, well, this is before we even had the RV, that I've been accepted into the community. The connectedness I really do enjoy, and it is extremely real. I got to go visit people that I've watched on. I got to meet Box Van D in real life.
Nice.
And next time, my plan is hopefully she'll be in Arizona at the same time I am, and we'll get to maybe spend more time together. And there's many people like that. I got to meet many people, and I really appreciate that, and I appreciate when people reached out to me. So that's what I know to do. It's basically part of my DNA personally. But anyways, I want to thank you for coming on. I know it was a little rough there, but you know what? I think everybody got the gist. You're a really cool guy. You have some interesting plans, and we're hoping to be able to meet you down the road, just like we get to meet other people.
Awesome. Thank you for having me.
And I think you picked up a couple of new friends on your channel as well. So come back anytime.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
All right, AJ. Thank you for being here. All right.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Wow. Thank you guys for staying. I know we had some roughness there in the beginning with the sound, but I really wanted to work through it as best we could, because I think AJ has he's well worth sitting through some frustration and trying to figure it out. All right. So again, I'm so sorry that my emojis did not work. Emojis I worked on, and I did exactly what I was instructed on the computer to do. Richard's going back to the RV to upload these emojis to the channel, so you guys have some fun things, those people that are channel members. And let's see, what else did I have over here to show you? So I showed you our thank you for, and you got to see it when we got a super chat. And then this one again, I'm going to show one more time. You would be stunned at how long that took me, okay? That's why maybe old people shouldn't be working on computers. And then I want to one more time thank all the new channel members that we have. And this is what I did for them. And then I also have another exciting piece of information. Over the weekend, I built a website. Kaylee, if you're able to type it in for me, it is Butter, B-U-T-R, which is our acronym, Butter Life, because it's about our whole life. And so on our website, it's going to have many things. And I would love to have you go there and leave a message. I'm trying to feel out what is working and what's not working. Again, it was my first stab at it. And I'd love your honest opinions. I think most of you who've watched me for a while know I value that. Even if it's something that I don't care for, I still appreciate that someone's willing to say, oh, Lucretia, I don't like the colors, or I don't like that sound. I didn't like the music to my thank you for a super chat. I don't like the music's going to get changed today. So it's Butterlife, BUTRLIFE.com, just butterlife.com. And yeah, thank you, Kaylee. She's seen a bit of it, I think, before it was officially finished. And it was fun to do. And I probably will work on it. I know I'll work on it more because there needs to be things worked out. And so that's what I was up to this weekend. It was a working weekend, very long working weekend. And it felt good to get it done. Some of these things I put off because, I just had to make some decisions in my own head. And that, I think, I want to double check on my notes and make sure that's all I wanted to share with you guys. I want to tell you about a couple of interviews coming up. So next week we will have Carol from Glorious Life on Wheels. She's going to be here for an interview. I love her. I love her channel. I love the cooking that she does. I've learned some things about small area cooking. Really, I love Gloria. I love Carol. I love that channel. And then the following week, we will have Raven from Raven and Rowley, ROWLEY. And she's got a newer channel. I think she's got a few videos up. If anybody wants to drop a link for Glorious Life on Wheels and Raven and Rowley, ROWLEY. Rolly is her dog, and she's got some excellent information. One is on elimination. If you're in a car, different things I didn't know. She talks about this in her video. I recommend you go there and take a look at it. And then thumbs up if you haven't already been able to do that. And also, I really want to thank AJ. He really pushed through this sound thing, and it worked once you got out of the truck. I don't know why. I'm not an engineer. All right, guys. So thank you, Alberta. Thank you very, very much. And thank you guys for showing up. You're what makes it worthwhile. Oh, and I've got a fairly interesting person. I'm not going to say their name because I don't want to say it yet. But it's somebody I've been working on for a while, and I love their channel. I watch it all the time, and so I've got stuff in the works. We're not just going to be sitting around looking at Lucretia, trying to figure out what to say next. I'm not really super good at that, and so. Happy, and maybe on a Thursday, and I may come back and start doing Thursdays as well. More about some, on Thursdays before we did kind of the funny news thing, but I've got some other ideas. And if you guys have any ideas on stuff you'd like to see, on a video you'd like me to make, on a place in Western Oregon you'd like to see us go, even a day trip, just put it on the community tab, put it anywhere. Send me an email, and my email is, I got to get to banners and go back to my email. Yeah, I'd like to do some things that you guys would like to have me do. And I just about put that person's name up on the screen accidentally. We were supposed to do a run through today, or yet on Friday, but things got really crazy for them and it couldn't be done. So I should have erased it because I was afraid I might make a mistake. So anyways, my email is burninguptheroads1@gmail.com. Burning, no G, burninguptheroads1, number 1, @gmail.com, because I'm not seeing, here it is. All right, you guys. So thank you so much for coming, and I appreciate it. I will see you either Thursday, because that's when this person can do an interview, but you'll get to get 24 hours notice. And if not, I'll see you Monday. You guys have a great rest of your week. Stay happy, stay healthy, and be safe. Be safe. Bye-bye.